The Trump administration is again announcing mass immigration raids that were previously announced and canceled. They're saying this will occur on Sunday, 2,000 families in major cities around the country. Now, this was postponed, so everyone is wondering, is it another head fake? But most people potentially affected can't afford to just assume it's a distraction. Speaker Pelosi says this is heartless and will, quote, terrorize children and tear families apart. Democrats, meanwhile, putting up the pressure on the administration. They're voting to authorize Chairman Nadler to issue subpoenas related to this family separation policy after some impassioned pleas from Democrats. I'm going to show you some of that emotional testimony and statements in a moment, but I first want to bring back Professor Christina Greer, who has covered this issue with us before. When you see this, you are in a classic Trump bind. On the one hand, give me a break. You've literally threatened and then retracted this very thing before. On the other hand, this is not a joke for people who could be hurt.
Well, keep in mind the last time he retracted was when someone had accused him of raping her in a Bergdorf Goodman dressing room, and we had some Iran interactions, and this was sort of part of the melee and the distraction in the news cycle. And so we were focusing on that and not the fact that a sitting president was accused of rape. So there was that. Fundamentally agree, we can't imagine what it must feel like in a household where every day you wonder if your loved one goes out to get milk or bread, if you will never see them again. Right? If they will go to a country where they don't speak the language and they know no one, or a country that is in such political turmoil, possibly due to the United States, maybe not, but go to a country where they will be thrust into a situation with no money, no language skills, no social or political or economic resources.
And to your point, whether they will be afforded due process, which is a founding principle of this nation, it is due process for all. That includes convicted murderers, let alone children who literally aren't even accused of doing anything other than existing. And so I raised that, and I want to put on the screen the images we've seen before that are part of this. This is not from a critic. This is from the Trump administration's DHS. This is what they say. This is the bare minimum of what we know is happening, let alone what you could get if we could get independent hidden cameras in there.
Right.
And this is the context for something that I mentioned to our viewers we're going to play. Senator Hirono, who I can say, in my opinion, my view, is pretty tough and made her way to the U.S. Senate. And as a tough person, tough people also feel, and tough people also care. And it is not nothing that she gets this emotional in public, as far as I know. But this was how she was dealing with what you see on your screen. This is brand new today.
When you saw the pictures of the kids, in these detention facilities, if you didn't feel shame, pain, if you weren't appalled by these pictures, then something is dead or dying in your hearts and in the heart of America.
Let's be also clear, though. This is minimum the fourth time we've done this as a nation. Right? I mean, this is the 21st century version of us doing this. We did this when we had U.S. chattel slavery. We ripped apart families. We did this when we had the Native American genocides. We did this when we had Japanese and Germans and Italians in internment camps. So unfortunately, this is part of a long legacy of America. This is also taxpayer funded. And so when you interview families or Republicans who are saying, well, you know, if they didn't want this to happen, then they shouldn't come. That is part of the problem. That's part of what the president has sown into the nation by treating these individuals, these human beings, and calling them animals and worse.
Right. And you're speaking to the historical context. The senator speaking to the human context of caring about it. Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.